Konnichiwa, Asami here. There are tons of tiramisu recipes, rich ones, light ones, flavored ones. I have many tiramisu recipes as well, but today I'd like to share with you a traditional recipe which I learned from my Italian chef friend. And being Japanese, I'm gonna make a matcha version. Let's get started. First, we're gonna make the sponge cake for tiramisu. Preheat the oven to 200 Celsius or 390 Fahrenheit. Sift 90 grams of all-purpose flour onto paper as usual. Put 3 egg whites into a mixing bowl, then set onto a stand mixer. Add 90 grams of sugar in 3 parts. Then make a stiff meringue. Be careful not to add the sugar too quickly or the meringue won't have volume. Add the sugar little by little. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer. You could also whisk by hand with a whisk, but it will take a lot longer. Once the egg whites have whipped up beautifully, add the egg yolks and just mix it for a few seconds like this. It hasn't combined well yet, but it will finish combining when you mix the flour into the batter, so that's okay. Add the sifted all-purpose flour in 3 parts and fold from bottom to the top. Be careful not to overmix. Once you can't see any flour, stop mixing and transfer the batter into a piping bag with a round tip. Then pipe onto a baking tray a small spiral of batter to fit the size of your tiramisu glass. You can also bake a lady finger shape and make your tiramisu in a deep dish. Sprinkle powdered sugar generously to get a crispy texture and pop it into the oven. Reduce the oven temperature to 190 Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit, then bake for about 12 minutes or until the surface looks to be dry and a little crispy. While we are baking the cake, we're gonna make matcha syrup and tiramisu cream. For the syrup, put 70 grams of sugar and 100 ml of water into a small pan and bring to a boil to dissolve the sugar. Meanwhile, sift 18 grams of matcha powder with a sieve into a bowl. The flavor and aroma of matcha will lessen when heated above 85 Celsius or 185 Fahrenheit, so it's best to make a syrup first and then mix in the matcha. My syrup has boiled and cooled down a bit, so I'm adding it now. If you add the matcha all at once, it will be lumpy, so add it little by little. This matcha syrup has a very strong flavor. It goes well with sweet tiramisu cream, but if it's too bitter for you, please adjust to your liking. Strain the matcha syrup with the sieve into a small bowl, then let it cool. Next, we're gonna make tiramisu cream. I've got 3 egg yolks in my mixing bowl. Add 45 grams of sugar and start whipping. Once the sugar is dissolved, change to the highest speed and keep whipping for a couple minutes. Since the traditional recipe calls for the eggs to be raw, please use fresh eggs, preferably sterilized eggs. You can see it's become pale. Then add 300 grams of mascarpone cheese into it. Mix just until combined at medium speed. Next is meringue. I've got 3 egg whites in another mixing bowl. Add another 45 grams of sugar all at once into it and start whisking at low speed to dissolve the sugar. Then change to medium-high speed. Keep whipping until firm peaks are formed. Then add the meringue to the cheese mixture in 3 parts. Fold it gently to combine. Now we're gonna assemble all the parts into glasses. Quickly dip one side of the sponge cake into the matcha syrup, then turn it over to coat the other side. Remove from the syrup, then put it into a glass. I realized later that it would have been easier to put the syrup in a squeeze-type bottle like ketchup and then squeeze the syrup over the sponge cake in the glass. If you have this type of bottle, I would recommend that method. Then pipe the tiramisu cream into glasses. I like to divide cream using a piping bag with a round tip and weigh each glass to ensure that the cream is divided evenly. But you can divide by simply using a ladle or a measuring cup. Put another sponge cake with syrup. Then pipe the cream onto it. The amount of cream is also up to you. I prefer more cream to cake, but a little less cream would be fine. Cover with plastic film and chill for at least 6 hours or overnight. Just before serving, sprinkle matcha powder on top. Wipe the glass and your tiramisu is ready to serve. Making tiramisu in individual glasses makes a lovely presentation. It takes a bit more time compared with making it in one large dish though. Feel free to bake your sponge cake in a lady finger shape and prepare it in a big deep dish, especially when you have many guests over. Please enjoy this Japanese spin on a popular Italian dessert. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, it means a lot when you take a second to give it a thumbs up. This detailed recipe is on my blog as always. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. ありがとう and さよなら. Bye!